In this video, I will show you how to make API call on page mount. I give you 3 ways. Okay, refresh. When the page mount, we fetch API and get the weather data. Okay, and we pass params to this screen and fetch the weather data. When the page initialize, we'll run this useEffect. And we const fetch weather. This is API call. And we put it in the useEffect. We make this function and run this function in the useEffect and no dependency. So this useEffect will run one time when the index page initialize. So this is the API call when the page initialize. So we get the weather and set the weather in useState, and we get the data. So if I give a refresh, loading the weather, and wait for the API. Okay, we get the data. So this is the first way. Just useEffect and no dependency, and make function in useEffect and run it. This is the first way. And the second way is this one. Okay, we make a function outside of the useEffect. Fetch weather. It's the same here. And fetch weather, if we make outside of useEffect, we need to put it in the dependency in useEffect. And we call it. We run this function in useEffect. So, and this function need to use callback. And this function no use callback, just async track catch. And this is use callback, track catch, and await. Fetch this API call. So why use callback? Because we put it in this dependency and we run it in useEffect. So we need to use a use callback to prevent the for loop. Okay, and this is the second way to run the initial API call when the page initialize. Okay, we save and give it a try. Loading the weather, and we got it. And the last one is I create a button in Go to Explore. When we click this button, it will rotor push to Explore page and pass the params, latitude and longitude, to the Explore page. In this Explore page, so we get the params from the use local search param to get latitude and longitude. And if we not get the latitude and the longitude from param, we set to undefined. And if it's undefined, we will set loading false and return. So we do not get the data. If we click this, we not give param, it will show this. Okay, no data. Okay, refresh. So the index page, if we click this index, it will pass the params to Explore page. Okay, and we will get the latitude and longitude and call the API and get the data. Okay, go. So we got the data. And so this is the 3 ways to call API at the page mount. So usually we use this, and maybe we have the last thing similar to use param, but not the same, is maybe we use other params from hooks. So like use user. So many cases we will use const user from use user. If this way, we need to put the user in useEffect and use the user data or user ID to call the function or whatever is API or fetch database. But it's similar to this. If no data, just return. If no user or user ID, just return. And use user to fetch API to call database.